Atlantic Canadians care a lot about the same things that other Canadians do. Housing is one. Atlantic Canada has some of the fastest growing cities in the country. Taking a look at Charlottetown, PEI, Moncton, New Brunswick, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Here in Halifax, it's one of the fastest growing cities over the last couple of years. More people means more needs for housing availability, housing affordability. So it'll be interesting to see what types of promises federal leaders make in terms of what levers the federal government could pull at that level of jurisdiction to entice and to create more housing opportunities. Another topic, defense spending. There was recently the announcement of the latest $8 billion in the federal shipbuilding project coming to Halifax to help build the River-class destroyers, this new class of vessel that's being built here in Halifax. It has meant lots of jobs, lots of economic prosperity for various parts of Halifax. Meanwhile, over in New Brunswick, there's CFB Gagetown, the second largest military facility in the country. Lots of jobs out there in the Oromocto area, in Fredericton. And then you take a look at CFB Greenwood, an important air base. That's going to be the East Coast area, the East Coast center and hub for Canada's new drone fleet, that $2.5 billion project that's coming online after 2028. So lots to talk about there, but probably the main topic of discussion is how Canada is going to deal with the tariff war, how Canada is going to deal with the United States. So each region has their own industry that could be most affected. Here on the East Coast, we're looking at forestry. Lots of the forestry sector products go south of the border. Fisheries as well. Lots of seafood goes south of the border to that customer, the American customer there. The other main customer is China. There was recently a blow dealt for that market with China announcing a 25% additional tariff on Canadian seafood heading that way. So kind of a double hit against the seafood sector. It's going to be interesting to watch to see if there are job losses in the fishery sector, whether or not there's going to be support offered by the federal government or by the federal parties during this campaign. Also, interprovincial trade. Interprovincial trade been talked a lot about here by Atlantic premiers. Nova Scotia has introduced legislation that could decrease some of the barriers between provinces in terms of the trade. And last week, New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt talked about creating an Atlantic zone of free trade here, talking about if we could remove all the trade barriers for the Atlantic zone as a start towards nationwide interprovincial free trade. So lots on the minds of voters here on the East Coast. Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.